Antonio Arroyo, the graduating senior here at LB Landry, and I have the honor of introducing Freddie King III, District C. Councilman Freddie King, Shaw High School, and a 2006 graduate of Southern Louisiana University. While at Southeastern, Mr. King became a member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated and was a 4-year football letterman. He was a member of the team that brought football back to Southeastern in 2003. After graduating from Southeastern with a degree in political science, Councilman King attended Southern University of Law Center, graduating in 2010. After finishing law school, Councilman King started the King Law Firm, LLC. Councilman King also worked in the city of New Orleans in the city council's office, and he served as a New Orleans Parish public defender. Councilman Freddie King believes in giving back to our community. Giveaways, Christmas meal giveaways, Algiers children's Christmas parties, and senior citizen Christmas parties. Councilman King also runs a small business in the District C, right on Newton Street in Algiers. Councilman Freddie King III is married to Cassandra Mary King, and they have 4 children. Please welcome to Elvin Landry, Councilman Freddie King III, District C.
It's all true. Thank you all for being here. Very important to give our students an opportunity to be involved in this business that's going to be in their future. This is just going to direct their path and forward. So thank you. I introduced this man to my right. He's been a part of the Algiers community. He has a lifetime of service to not just Algiers, but to the city of New Orleans. He started off many years ago doing hard work and has never taken about pride in always saying not someone that just talk, but the conversation with students for one that you walk the walk. Without any further ado, I would introduce my congressman, our congressman, Councilman Charles A. Carter.
Thank you very much for being part of this discussion in this incredible school that my mother graduated from, my brother graduated from. I graduated from Oak River Walking just over the way. It doesn't exist before, but this great institution does. A school that has held so much in the way of academic, athletic, social value for our community. You should be proud to bear the name of LB Landry on your chest, on your shirts, on your uniforms, on your helmets, on your band, on your book bag. It is indeed a school of excellence with faculty and members that care about you and students that have incredibly, incredibly bright future. Today we're going to kick off what is our conversations with the Congressman, with city council members and the community. And the intent is to bring it home, to talk about things that are of concern. Some we may have greater control, some we have lesser control, but all is important. It all must be done with as much interaction as possible. Education is one of those subjects that is very challenging and very sensitive. And we haven't always gotten it right. We don't always get it right. We don't always get a lot of things right. But if you're smart and you're at least willing to listen, you can learn from things, you can make it better. So through these discussions, we intend to listen to you, to talk about those issues and to recommit our friendships, our relationships, to get it right, to do it right, to make sure that we have the best possible outcomes for our young people. In this case, we're talking about education. Next week, we'll be talking about other issues. As we go to each council member district with different discussions. And this is a very timely one because we know that there's nothing more important than providing for our young people. And there's nothing more important than listening to all sections. Everyone has something to say. Everyone has value. And that hasn't always been done as well as it should be. Everybody hasn't been listened to as much as they should. There shouldn't be as much of us against them. There should be a discussion where all ideas, views, positions are taken seriously. Because nothing is more important than providing the absolute best environment for our young people, our future. So thank you for allowing me to be in this beautiful school, at this beautiful time, in this beautiful community with such beautiful, smart, talented young people.
Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge some leaders from the Algiers community who are present right here. I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Ashanti White, who is a longtime educator and just an all-around advocate for the Algiers students. Who is on the Algiers Charter Board. Second mother, my second adopted mother is Carol Lane. She was a long time uncles and cousins, and been doing it for a long time. It's Hazel McKinney, another long time Algiers educator. She is here on behalf of our great mayor, Mayor Matthew Charles Felton. All right, so we're going to jump right to the questions. The first one is softball, Congressman. You put right here now, and you say that you graduated high school a couple blocks away at Oakland Walker. Give us some of your fondest memories of being a young man working out of this community and some of your memories of being in high school.
You know, Algiers is a very special place. I'm one of 6 kids, youngest of 6 kids. We all went to Walker and Atlanta. My sister went to prep. One of my brothers, 2 of my brothers graduated from Atlanta, and the rest of us graduated. We were born and raised in this community. My mother raised us by herself. And it wasn't always easy. There were people who, like any other young black man in America, sometimes people said you couldn't do things that you wanted to do. But through my mother's hard work and prayers, we did as all of you would do, overcome those odds and be and do everything that we want. Algiers is a close-knit community. It's a small community. It's a community where everybody knows each other. When we have people who take a vested interest in your success. You mentioned Dr. Carol at the time, an incredible leader in our community, someone that really did some good years. Hazel McKinney, who's some of the kids who right here in this community 24/7, who treated us all as their kids, who took a vested interest in our success. And growing up in Algiers, I was blessed to have many people like that in my life. My father was not active in the household. There were a lot of fathers in the community that stepped up and gave love and tutelage to demonstrate that this notion that because you're poor and black, you can't succeed, because you grew up in a certain community, you can't succeed, because you didn't have a silver spoon, you can't succeed. I didn't have a silver spoon. We grew up in challenging environment. So we were never taught that we were less than. We were never taught that we were poor. We were never taught that anybody was better than us. And we quieted the noise of people who wanted to say we couldn't do things. I credit this community with giving me the opportunity to do that. I credit this opportunity to give this community, Algiers, give me the opportunity to come back, to stay a part of the community. Always, rather it's through Thanksgiving dinners or toy giveaways, tutorial programs, or programs for young people or for senior citizens. Giving back is very much a part of what I was talking about. And looking in the faces of these young people, I see success. I see the ability to overcome. And I want you guys to recognize that this community that gave so much to me. Thank you.
Thank you. And I wanted to say, you mentioned Dubai, who's the LB graduate. I don't think you are certain age out here, man, has to be a part of life. My grandmother, grandfather, graduate LB, Mr. Lee, without land, I wouldn't do it. So this school is near and dear to everyone who is after not in the group.
And I'll tell you, a proud moment. I was a young member of the city council. Street that's right out front. Most of you were neighbors if we were born. Used to be called Whitney. Yes. I was very proud as a member of the city council to change the name of that street. All right. Northeast, always hold a special place as with this level too.
Next question. COVID has presented several challenges for our students, our faculty, community, everyone. And it seems as if it's not going to be this. What are some things that have been done, and what are some things that we are doing to help keep our students and our students safe?
Well, you know, number one thing, when I was a member of the state senate, I passed a resolution encouraging the governor to make masks mandatory. It was one of the best things the state ever did. When we started wearing masks, we significantly reduced the spread of COVID. We encourage people to wear masks and young people to take it seriously, to recognize that this virus had no like dislike in particular people. Everybody was affected, but it demonstrated something that was wrong in many of us knew, and the world didn't. The disparities of healthcare in the Black community. It wasn't that COVID liked to attack Black communities more than other people. It demonstrated the lack of healthcare, the lack of attention, underlying issues and symptoms that went on in our community that did not have adequate healthcare and preventive medicine. And as bad as COVID was, it was a good thing to come out of it and turn the lights on to make sure that we understand that we have to provide better healthcare for our communities. We have to engage our young people more. We have to have our young people have honest discussion with us about taking better care of themselves, eating better, being kinder and gentler to each other, and equally as important to ourselves. So COVID was a heck of a wake up. But through our education, through providing masks at the various community events, and going into the churches, going into the neighborhoods, providing education on COVID, providing appropriate masks so people can be safe. We learned a whole lot about what we could do better. And now that we appear to be turning the corner, if you will, on COVID, where it's better, where we've had our vaccinations, people are no longer having to wear masks as a mandatory issue. We've learned that if you wash your hands, if you socially distance, if you wear your mask, if you get your vaccination, and if you manage your diabetes, manage your high blood pressure, watch what you eat. Those underlying issues that made COVID so much more dangerous for us, we can control, whether it's COVID or any other issue, that we should all wake up and recognize that young people should practice good eating habits. But in America, it's not always easy to keep up, because a hamburger costs you 99 cents, but a salad costs you $6. Something's wrong with that. We got to change the dynamic of creating healthier eating, healthier living. And COVID turned the lights on to that. And while COVID may be slightly in our review mirror, we should make sure that we pay attention to our diets, our exercise, what we eat. And then we have to create a better environment economically so people can afford to eat better. And so all of those pieces, education, economic development, healthcare, they're all interconnected.
And I want to thank you. Like I say, you're someone who just doesn't talk, but actually does the walk. You fought the first vaccination drive to have this community as a state senator. So thank you for that. Always being on the forefront, keeping our community safe. Next question. How can you support schools like Atlanta so that our schools are safe places for students as far as their hearts, bodies, and minds, including but not limited to mental health, community violence prevention, nutrition, LGBTQ rights, book bans, curriculums on diversity and racial justice?
You know, there's a push across the country to turn the clock back a month. One of which is to try to somehow soften the effects of slavery. But you can't soften the effects of something that's already happened. You can't turn back the time on the atrocity of something that's happened to our people. If you really want to soften it, do better going forward. But we can't stop talking about it. We can't take it out of the history books as if it didn't happen because somehow somebody's uncomfortable. Well, if you're uncomfortable hearing about it, try to be my ancestors who lived through it.
Yes, sir.
So we have to demand that we continue to educate our people on the past that will never repeat. We have to make sure that as it relates to COVID, economic development, education, or other, that we stay engaged, that we provide the resources for our young people to be healthy and safe. When I was a young member of the House of Representatives, my very first bill that I passed was to create gun-free zones around schools to make sure that our young people were safe, to make sure that anybody bringing a gun in or around the school had enhanced penalties. Why? Because we want to make it real clear to them. Schools are places for learning. Our children should not have to worry about their safety or security when they're in the classroom. So we make it real clear. Just like a church, courthouse, airport, don't come around school with guns. Because our young people are here learning. And here we are in 2022, and we're still having to send that message. Our beloved HBCUs have been the threat of bombs. And I had the opportunity to meet with the director of FBI. Congressional Black Caucus made it a point. And we're going to make sure that kids are protected in education facilities. And that also accounts for high school, junior high school, elementary schools. To make sure that when you're in this building, the only thing you need to think about is learning. The only thing you should have to worry about is having an opportunity to use your sponges, your brains, to absorb as much knowledge as you can get. In these households where people care about you, where they love you and they want you to do well, concentrate on just getting as much of that knowledge as you can. I know it's, listen, when I sat where you sat, I didn't want to hear that. Man, I wanted to go have fun. And there's some people in the audience that will attest that I really did just want to go have fun. But somewhere along the line, they just pinched it. They made me realize it was important to take advantage of this opportunity. So from a congressional standpoint, we have sent money to the states and to the local government through the American Rescue Plan to provide for mental health. We know that our young students go through a lot of challenges. It's not easy doing that, period. And in these days, young people, you guys are tackling very difficult situations. Situations at home, peer pressure in the classroom. Depression is a real issue. I want you guys to know depression is a part of life, just like high blood pressure and diabetes. Wearing glasses or not wearing glasses. It's a part of who we are. But none of it's insurmountable. None of it can't be fixed. So however hopeless it may feel some days, or physically or mentally challenged it may feel some days, talk to us. We have resources to help. You're not alone. You don't have to take on these issues and battles by yourselves. Reach out. Know that they love and care for people. And while you're sitting here right now, somebody's thinking, wow, because you got an issue. You may have thought you were by yourself, but you're not. Because other people sitting may have a similar issue. Or maybe somebody who had an issue later that could share with you how they got over it. We're here for you. And you need to be here for each other. And then we as a people need to spend less time talking about each other and more time talking to each other. Loving each other, caring for each other. Not always thinking everything is us against them. You may disagree sometimes. You may disagree. Yeah. But we have a responsibility to step up, admit when you're wrong, do better. If you're right, help someone else find right. And we will continue to provide resources through ARP, American Rescue Plan, $1.7 billion, $2 trillion for infrastructure, opportunity for transportation, opportunity for nutrition, making sure that other people are getting healthy meals and good for them, making sure that you have the academic tools that you need in the classroom. And God knows we got to keep fighting to make sure that we pay attention. Because there's nobody more important than teachers who are in the classroom, giving themselves to make you better. Not because they're mean and they give you homework, but because they care about you and they want you to succeed. My mother spent 40 years in the classroom. Retiring was her last assignment in the car. Education and young people are very much a part of our lives. And we're here for you guys. And we want to make sure that we get back.
I would like to just want to add, the high school face different challenges and different that I face. And the challenges that these young men face are much more different than the ones that I face. And I couldn't imagine being in your shoes. So everything face. Just coming to school and going home, back. You all live lives that I couldn't imagine. So if there's anything I can do, anything the Congressman can do, please do not hesitate to say, talk to me. Can you point me in the right direction? Because you all matter to us. That's wrong. If anything to do, please do not hesitate. All right, in the audience, we have some students who are about to graduate from Spring High School, and they're about to start a new chapter in their life. Congressman, what are you doing to give them access to higher education, technical career training, or creating jobs right here in Louisiana?
Well, a number of things. One of which you mentioned a second ago, that we have in Congress invested more money in HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, in the last year, creating more opportunities for young people to attend a traditional four-year institution. We also recognize everyone's not going to go to a four-year institution and may not want to. And that does not define success. Because success comes in lots of different ways. Some may decide they want to go to a two-year or a vocational institution, MOTEC, community college. You know, success comes in a lot of different flavors, shapes, sizes. And it's different for different people. So we want to create as many opportunities for you to be your authentic self. Be who you want to define the world you want to be a part of, to give you opportunities to academic success, economic success, spiritual success, life success. So what we have made it a point to do is to double down on our research. And one of the most significant things that a member of Congress to do is to recognize that there's a separation between federal, state, and local governments. the most significant thing that we could do to assist in those areas that we do not have direct jurisdiction is provide resources to send money to the states for specific causes, be it education, be it healthcare, be it crime prevention, be it mental health assistance. And that's what we've done. Through the American Rescue Plan that we have, brought millions and millions of dollars to the various programs and grants for nutrition and education we have, and continue to send millions of dollars to school boards, to city councils, to legislature, to the courts, to nonprofits. A huge part of the $1.7 trillion that we were able to pass in the infrastructure bill. 50% of that is available through bid, not bid, I'm sorry, through grants. So individual organizations that are out there, you have the ability to go to the website, our government website, you can go to my website, and you can look at the available money that's out there for mental health, training, for education, for programming that may fit. And it's competitive, but you're not bidding against someone else, you're bidding against yourself. You promote what it is that you want to do. So 50% of that infrastructure money is money that can be applied for to do things in the community. We encourage all of our government and our nonprofits to go and see if it fits. It may not fit for everyone, but if there's a fit, there are resources that federal government is providing every day, so we can bring these resources back home to the people and give them an opportunity to be a part of the work that we do in Washington to make sure that it trickles down. And that's why I'm here today. That's why we're doing these discussions with the congressman, because I want people to know that when we're in Washington, we're working hard, we're fighting to bring resources home, but we're not so far removed that we don't still touch the people. That we drive on the same streets, we live in the same communities, we see the same carjackers, we want to stop it. We want to stop the carjacking, we want to stop the murders, we want to stop the miseducation, we want to stop the unemployment, and we want to bring resources to let you know that however bad it looks, it's not as bad as you think, and we're going to make it better.
Thank you. Thank you. We also secured millions for community project funding right here in the world and the rest of the country. Can you share more details about these projects, especially those that relate to education, research, and strengthening communities right here in the world?
Absolutely. We were very fortunate in the last round of community projects to get some $30 million to pump right back into my congressional district, into your congressional district. Money that goes to education, money that goes to ADA requirements, making sure that we make our parks more accessible to people that have disabilities, people with wheelchairs, people who find it a little bit more challenging to get around than some. And we should make sure that those parks and those public places are easy for them to navigate, for those schools are easy for them to navigate. Academics, particularly in the area of science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, that we encourage our young people to recognize that math and the hard sciences isn't hard if you ignore the thought that sometimes we have this prejudice, oh, I don't like math, so I'm not going to try it. Math is if you start with its fundamental building blocks of understanding the basics, it becomes easier and easier. But like anything, if you miss the first couple of steps, and you try to start a step of 20 at step 5, it's going to be hard. And easy to just say, I don't like it, because you're trying to start at step 5. And it's never too late to go back to step 1. And once you conquer step 1, you realize 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, on up becomes easy. So we're doubling down, if you will, investing in education, so our young people understand math is not something that you should throw your hands up and say, I don't like it. Oh, I'm not good at that. Sure you are. You'll be good at it once you go back to step 1 and learn step 1. You learn how to ride a bike. You didn't start popping wheelies before you could let a rider, right? You didn't get on your skateboard and do a 360 before you knew how to balance yourself. You didn't get on the high board before you learned how to do a basic stroke. So like anything, you start at the fundamental steps. And we've invested in that to make sure young people are very comfortable with it. Making sure that their academic experiences are met with comfort and ease. Challenge, yes, because challenge is part of growth, but also recognizing that at the end of the day, it's not about trickery. It's not about hiding the ball. It's about educating and making sure that it's successful. So helping with after-school programs to make sure that your homework is done. Making sure that you've got a solid nutritional base, because if you're hungry, you can't stand it. You can't, if your belly is problem, you can't concentrate. And if you didn't eat food that gives you nutritional value, you're not going to have the kind of mental growth that you need. So we need to fix all those things. And those are part.
I was one of those students that threw my hands up with math.
I was talking to you and me on that because I was that student who said, and I don't like that. And in my mind, I said, that's my work subject before I ever tried it. That's like sitting down and playing foods I don't like and you never take it. And believing something that somebody else said about what you can and can't do. Like, whatever. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. And I'm here to tell you, I have since figured out that. But it took me a long time. And if I had listened to Mr. Kennedy in the world many, many years ago, I'd have gotten a lot sooner. I had to go back to basics. I had to go back to figure out how to make up for those shortcuts I tried to take. But once I went back at the fundamentals together, now it makes sense. Because it's one block, it's not another block. Yes, yes.
And we were advocate for and voting support of the massive infrastructure that is bringing at least $7 million back to $7 billion back to the region upgrades, roads, bridges, water systems, and so much more. This also includes money for broadband and internet service access, a critical part of infrastructure in the 21st century. Can you speak about your work on the federal level to increase access to internet, especially for students in this community?
One of the most significant things that came out of the infrastructure bill was chalking a lot of life-changing, transformational opportunities. One of them, again, as I mentioned with COVID, we learned a lot through COVID. COVID forced us to open our eyes and see things in some health disparities, academic disparities, nutritional disparities, economic disparities. One thing also taught us that in 2022, having access to internet is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Yet many of our communities didn't and don't have it. Some because there's no wiring, because they live in rural parts of our state that just don't have the fiber or the wiring places you have in the neighborhood. And then some of us couldn't afford it. But we know that the world has forever changed. COVID came about Zoom, Teams, and FaceTime, and distant learning, and job interviews, and business opportunities, and meetings with community groups, even churches are done online. What happens if you don't have access? If you can't go and do research for a class, or you can't get instructions from your teacher because the teacher is giving it via Zoom on computer, you don't have internet. You got to go sit in the parking lot at McDonald's so you get internet. No one should have to do that. Not in America, not the richest country in the world, not a country that provides aid to people all over the world. We shouldn't have our people not having access to the basics. So we fought to make sure that everybody in America had access to internet. So no longer will anybody be left behind because they don't have the bare minimum of a necessity. And internet in 2022 is as essential as air conditioned water, plumbing, election. And we now have passed resources that every community will in fact have access to.
And overtook the bill of a lot of the prejudices, some of the challenges that our kids face. Internet access is one of those that you've shown. So I thank you for the work. I think the team's work of our students. As we said, no one should get it down on the access to them. What advice would you give to these students as they graduate from high school?
Much of which I've been sprinkling through all my comments. And that's a central thing. Believe in yourself. No matter what anybody else does. No matter what anybody tells you, the guidance counselor, the neighbor, maybe your parents. Maybe it's your friend, or your so-called friend, who said you couldn't do something. So I want to be a doctor, maybe. You want to be a football player, maybe. You want to be a school teacher, man, girl, you can. Let that be the strength that you need to say yes, sir. Take all those dollars, take all those people who said you couldn't do something, make them alive. Now, there's a separation of church and state. But John Lewis, former Congressman John Lewis, and he speaks of good trouble. I'm gonna get into good trouble right now. Because I'm gonna tell you to pray. I'm gonna tell you to pray. I'm gonna tell you to trust God. I'm gonna tell you that you're never too young, too old, too rich, too poor, too this, too that. And you don't have to do it in a fancy way. You don't have to do it in any kind of form or fashion. You don't have to do it on Sunday. You don't have to do it when somebody's watching. Do it in your own personal way between just you and God. And look up and say, God, protect me. Order my steps. I don't always get it right, Lord. Show me the way. Trust in God and pray for yourselves and pray for each other. Love each other and take advantage of the opportunity to learn as much as you can learn in this incredible institution, LBA, where you got the best administrators, teachers, faculty, staff, custodians, cooks, security, coaches, neighbors, parents, and friends. They love you and they want you to succeed. You play a role in that too. You gotta meet a pathway. You gotta work hard. You gotta believe. You gotta dream big. And you gotta believe you can get there. Muhammad Ali said, if your dreams don't scare you, you aren't dreaming big. Stay with me. If your dreams don't scare you, if your dreams don't feel unachievable, if your dreams seem too far away, if they don't, you're in. See, you're supposed to look at things that people say you can't do and find a way to do it. Why? Because you can. Why? Because you're young, gifted, smart, talented, children of God. And nobody stop you but you. And nobody stop you but you. My words to you, take advantage of every opportunity to be successful. And along the way, help somebody else. Help somebody. You don't have to know. You don't have to be your friend. You don't have to be your other. The gift of giving, the gift of love, of help, is the one gift as you give it away, get it back. Keep giving. Keep loving each other. Keep believing in each other. Look out for each other. You know the saying, I am my brother's keeper? You really are. And brother is a general term. Sister's keeper. Mama. Keeper. Daddy's keeper. Love each other, leave yourselves. And I guarantee you success. Take it away.
Congressman, a question It's talking about here. You can give us expound for a little bit. I don't think it's always appreciated how hard you work. You mentioned this money, $7 billion, 30,000 around. Real quick, can you tell us how competitive it is, how hard you work to make sure that you, to the district, cities represent, the parish represent the fair share of this money that other states in Ohio, Florida, people the same dollar. Just give us a little insight, speak to people how hard you work.
So, as a member of Congress, I am one of 535 members in the entire world. As a member of Congress, I'm one of 435 members in the entire world. That's a teeny percentage of people that have the responsibility to do what I do. But I don't say it for that purpose. I say it because the 434 other members were all trying to get the same piece of pie. Everybody wants to bring it home. That 7 billion, 30 million, 1.2 trillion. Everybody is fighting to get a piece of that to bring back home. So imagine waking up every day in Washington and having to study a little bit more, build a little bit more of a relationship, understand the process a little bit better, attend this meeting, attend that meeting, figure out how to maneuver, how to amend the bill, how to put the budget request in, how to argue and defend meritorious projects, schools, activities, events, programs. It's very competitive. It's very competitive, and those who get more, those who stay later, those who wake up earlier, those who take the time to learn the process and to really learn how to negotiate and navigate through the process. I thank God that we've been very successful. We never bring a lot of money home, but it doesn't come easy. As you know, as a member of the city council, I know how hard you work and how difficult it is for you to balance East Bank, West Bank, different ideas, different philosophies, people that all think they've got it right, you've got it wrong, you've got it right, they've got it wrong. And on either given day, we can all be right, or we can all be wrong. But the key is to never stop fighting, never stop working. And my days in Washington start very early, and I very rarely make it back home before 9 o'clock. That's every day. But that's what it takes to do what we do. That's what it takes to be able to. Michael Jordan didn't become the best basketball player. Tiger Woods didn't become the best golfer, not practice. Denzel Washington did not become an outstanding actor, not practice. Maya Angelou did not write some of the most prolific poems, not stepping up. Anything worth having is worth working for. And whatever you choose to do, be the best at it. Give it your all. Work hard. I go to Washington and I work really hard. I work hard because I love what I do and I love the people that I represent.
Thank you, Congressman. That concludes our discussion, but I have actually one more. When did you start your journey?
I started very young, and I started in church. And it wasn't politics, it was just helping people.
So what you?
Why would you do that? I mean, I started my first, I guess I started probably in high school when I was in ROTC in the 80s. I graduated in 1982. How am I doing? That's all right, you're old again now. And I was active in the community. And then through my further academic undergraduate, graduate experiences, and then I got elected when I was 26 years old.
What was that?
That was 1991. 1991. serve in the House of Representatives. And, but my giving and my community activism and my community involvement was much bigger than my being elected. It was much bigger than my having an elected office or having a title. It was always about working with the community. And I think where the council is going is to say you don't have to be elected. You don't have to be older. I did it at your age, volunteering, helping the church, volunteering at school giveaways. Get involved. Rather you want to be the next congressman, mayor, councilman, you don't have to want to be a politician to give back. You don't have to be a preacher to want to help somebody go the right direction. You don't have to be a teacher to help somebody with their homework. You don't have to be a guidance counselor to give guidance. Be a good person. And you'd be surprised the dividends that page.
We've been doing this since the 80s, 90s. First black state rep in this district. First black councilman in this district. Became first black state senator. First congressman from the West End. I've been there to serve. You give a bunch of these out on your time on the council. But I wanted to give you a proclamation all these. It said, whereas the city of New Orleans is renowned for its food, festivals, famous citizens, many visitors, and its music culture. And whereas council recognizes Congressman Freddie King III for his lifetime of service to the city of New Orleans and the Adverse community. And whereas soon after graduating from Xavier University, Congressman Carter served for 6 years as executive assistant to Mayor Sidney Fowler. In 1991, Congressman Carter became the first African American to be elected to the Louisiana House of Representatives from 102nd District, right here now, where he served as the youngest ever floor leader representing the city of New Orleans. And whereas in 1994, Congressman Carter was elected to the New Orleans City Council, representing District C, and again becoming the first African American elected to the position. In 2015, Congressman Carter was elected to the State Senate for Louisiana's 7th District. And whereas in 2021, Congressman Carter was elected to represent Louisiana's 2nd Congressional District. Therefore, be it proclaimed, the Council for the City of New Orleans congratulates and recognizes